Hey, I'm gonna try to do some cosplay photo editing. Need to do some more photos. Get more pictures for some of the cosplayers. See how it goes. Looks good. That looks good. Okay. So I'm doing the concurrent stream again. This time, I changed it to 1080p. We'll see if that works or not. Maybe I should check the audio. See how it sounds. How we doing? Is there audio? Looks good. Yep. Nice. I would like to put background music in these streams, but when I do two streams to two different places, it gets confusing with the, like, you have to do Twitch music and you have to do YouTube music that is safe to be used on each one. Could potentially do it, but haven't made the attempt yet. I'm gonna look for some type of photo to edit. In this case, I should do another one or two, multiple for her. Not sure why these are grouped up. Grouped by file type. Oh, right. I was using two cameras back then. So we've got our CO3s from the Canon EOS M6 Mark II and the Sigma 56mm f1.4. And then I also have the Z5 with the 50 that I was using. Let's see. Should probably do a horse photo. Also, I'm using Acdsee Photo Studio Ultimate 2022. They did send me a code. I made a video on it recently, but it's been working nicely. And I use that mostly for doing any type of management, developing the photo, and then I'll pull it into this one, which is Affinity Photo for the actual like cleanup work, such as usual. Let's see if we got anything interesting. That's pretty nice, but it's similar to the one that I edited before, so if I can edit fast enough, it'd be nice to do more than one. Let's see. It's not bad. Alrighty then. That's decent. And then do I have these sorted? Yeah, these should be all photos that I can potentially edit. I did take out all the really, really bad ones. Got rid of them for the most part. I mean, they're still around, but I did not have them in here. It's challenging to make a photo exciting when it doesn't have that thin depth of field look to it. So in this case, I was using f2.8. You can't see because my face is covering that area of the photo. I can move it up a little bit. There we go. So we've got some EXIF on the bottom. That was f2.8 with the Z5 50mm. That's very nice. Maybe I'll do that. That was good too. That one's also good. You can actually see her face. Hmm. Maybe if it's not too difficult, I can do two of these. Like, that is pretty good. I could start with that one, maybe. Hmm. I like this one because of the framing, but this one just looks a little better for some reason. That one's alright too. The focus is slightly off. Of course, when you're doing if I can talk, eye detect autofocus, it's not going to detect anything when they're not looking at it. That one's alright. Let's go with this one. To jump into develop. These are RAWs, and the develop tab in this case is all non-destructive edits. There's some green tea, actually decaffeinated with Salada, I think is the brand. So they use carbon dioxide process or something to decaffeinate it. So it's not like chemicals. Probably, so not a ton of adjustment I probably need to do here. Let's see if we can change the hue of the. We can either do a green or maybe like a yellow. So I like the more yellow look here. Yeah, something different. Although if I do two of these, I'll have to try to make it look similar. Mm. And this program does have a quick way to improve the skin look. Well, that does change quite a bit. Mm. All right. This looks good. Just checking on the stream thing to see if it's working. Looks like it. Right, there isn't a ton I should probably do here in ACDC. It's kind of at the point where I think it's definitely color. If I can talk today, it's colorful enough. And like I said, I would do the actual editing in another program. Let's export. Oh, and this is a new version of ACDC. So I need to make a new export for. Usually I do these in PSD format. Yeah. Don't need that. Make a new preset. It should be good. Right. Let's pop this up. Open. And let's look around a little bit. Is it out of focus? A little. I think it's fine. Good enough, maybe. Actually, let me look back here. Go to view again. See if there's another one that's a little better. In that case, it looks the same. This one, actually. Whoops. So, what I could do here is copy. I could copy those developer settings and then paste them into the other one. Should be pretty good. I don't think I need to change any of it. Question is, which one was it? Was it this one? I think so. And then paste, process paste settings. So that'll apply the color and everything, the adjustments. We can look at it again. And then we got the yellow background. I still like that one though. That one's good. It's in focus. Nah. I still like the one that I picked. Although that one's good too. Maybe I'll do... Maybe I'll do both. We'll see. Anyways. So we can duplicate this layer. And then we'll do frequency separation. In that case, I've mentioned this before, but the goal here is not to have color on one side. We still want the lines. Let me mirror this. Of course, you do have different types, which we can try out. See if that's any better. It might be good. I'm definitely seeing some color, but let's try this bilateral. It's just a little slow here with the computer. It's actually not bad. Wish I could remove that blue. Let's try it. See if it works. So this makes two layers. You've got the high frequency, low frequency. So in some situations, you can still have your texture on one layer, and then you can adjust like screen wrinkle. What I'm saying, clothing wrinkles or something like that. Oh, it's still going. Could use a new computer. So there we go. I should save this. Let's put it right in there. Look at the speed. The computer is full of SSDs and it's going that fast. That should be good. So in this case, we've got a lot of flyaway hairs. Could potentially edit some of this clothing. So in this case, let's pick the low frequency and then take, let's try patch tool first. We're only doing low frequency. Go over this. It's lagging. So that did kind of work. Although I wouldn't say that it really... Oh, actually, yeah, I guess I did. Let's do it in a smaller piece. Take that. Still, it's not working quite how I would like it to work. Let's see what this layer looks like. If I hold down and click on it, it'll only show the one layer. Which there's still a lot of texture in this, which isn't great. So it's possible that I didn't do it properly with this frequency separation. Which I'm gonna go back, delete this, duplicate. I'm gonna try the basic one, see if it helps at all. In that case, we go back to frequency separation. And yeah, Gaussian. Mirror that. Let's look. About right there is probably as good as I can get it. Let's try that. That was quicker that time. So let's look at the low frequency. Go back here. So let's look at both again. So only select low frequency though, and then I'll try that again with the patch tool. Yeah, that's more of the type of result I was looking for. Because you still get that texture on the top layer, but you're fixing the coloration and such on the bottom. Nice. And I'll just do a little bit more to make it less noticeable. Very good. So we can do a before and after real quick. Zoom out slightly. So before, after, that actually worked nicely. There we go. Let me save this. Good. Excellent. There is a little bit more here we could adjust. So again, select only the low frequency. And here we will do the same thing. Just take this little dark area and use a better source so it's not as noticeable. We can do a before and after real quick. You can see that little splotch of dark cloth. I mean, it's like a velvet or something, but that does work. Let's look for anything else. Like right here, this looks like a good spot. Again, with the low frequency. And I just there we go. Do another before and after. Good. Let's see if I can, whoops, is it scrolling like that? There we go, wrong key. So I'm holding down some of the keyboard keys to do things, which maybe I should have a keyboard view. Now that I think about it, I'll consider that for the future. I do have the Z5 here, but I need a tripod of some type. Well, doesn't have the right mount. Okay, tripod time. See how tall this has to be. That should be good. So in this case, we've got the Z5. It's a webcam functionality to it. It should be all set up. Putting a little plate on here. And so we can do the USB through, the webcam through USB. I just so happen to have a cable that I recently picked up. My computer has one USB-C port, which does power and like everything. Sure, that's in video mode. Okay. Let's turn that on. There we go. And how's that? Maybe a little like that. So that way, I think that'll work. Noise. Hopefully it doesn't block anything, but we'll see. Okay. So most of the keys and everything are default, as far as I know. So I could. Oh, that should be good enough. Let's see. So we've got a ton of flyway. Whoa, didn't want that. A ton of flyway hairs. We could potentially edit. Or we can also do some like just basic cleanup work. So I'm holding the control key down to zoom in like that. Oh, this thing is saying my bitrate is too low. Audio stream's current bitrate is lower than recommended. Who knows? Is it even working? Looks good. Is it even working? Okay. Seems to be working. Wonder if I can change it on the fly. Like 28. I guess we'll find out. Anyways, that should be good enough. Seems to be still working. All right. So I'm going to go for the basic stuff first. Let's pick like inpainting tool. Let's try that. And then here in this specific program, these brackets change the size of it. This specific tool doesn't need like a source. It just figures it out itself. So in some situations it's nice. But it's not, of course, going to be as smart sometimes as you want it to be. And it's actually feeling kind of laggy, which is never nice. But I can see some of the hairs, even though this is a little bit out of focus, they're still showing up. And I do have both layers selected at the moment. That should be good. So this is being applied to both layers, which is the goal. It's just a little quicker. You can do it separately if you want to. Depending on the situation, I do. But in this case, this appears to be working, so if it works, it works. Make that a little bit smaller so it doesn't like screw anything up. And I could potentially like sharpen the eyelashes or something to make them look like they're in focus. So in this case, let's look at the different layers and see what we got here. Get rid of that. Right now I'm just on the low frequency layer. Get rid of this like pin thing. And I could also go for these like hairs that are going the wrong direction. Depends on how extreme you want to go. Now let's look at the high frequency. So that's good. In this case, with those flyaways, I would want to get rid of them on both layers. But sometimes it's easier said than done. See how this is looking. Yeah, it looks all right. I don't know why the thing is saying audio streams current bitrate. It doesn't make sense. Thing is saying audio streams current bitrate. There we go. Who knows? If it works, I guess it works. Otherwise, I'll just be talking to myself, which I'm doing anyways. All right. Let's try the same tool, see if it works. Yeah. Now, this is probably not really benefiting us much by doing both layers at the same time. But at the very least, it's applying this tool separately to each layer so that you're not getting a mix of the two as it tries to use the tool, if you get what I'm saying. Which it appears to be working pretty well. As if I were to only do it on one layer, you would get the lines away, but then you wouldn't get like the glow of color from them. So for example, we look at the low frequency, you can still see the hairs. They're like a dark little line here. We still want to get rid of that, if possible. But if we do a before and after, you can see the difference already. It is definitely working. Save that. There might be a quicker way, but the one thing I can't do is use the patch tool on both of them at the same time. That's a no-go. But I could potentially use it like on one and then do it on the other one, which we can try that real quick. Let's do high frequency first. Pick that patch tool and then just take a piece here. So it kind of worked. Let's do the low frequency. Yeah. It's not bad, but I don't like how it blurred that edge. There we go. Let's go back to the in-painting tool. This one seems a little better. Though I wish it were faster, but that's pretty much just my computer being a baby. There we go. It's still a little blurry down there. It seems to be doing a decent job. Like I said, I wish I could put some music into this stream. Might eventually get a good method for that. Because Twitch has their own music app that you can use and play it and push it to through your stream. And YouTube, I can use YouTube Audio Library Music. But in OBS, I need to push one to one place, another one to another place. It does not look good. One nice thing about the Z5, which I can't see it at the moment, is that through the USB it's pulling power at the same time. So it should work for a good amount of time. I'm not sure if it's going to like completely only use USB power, but if it does, then that's even better. Of course, I'm sure that would depend on the USB port and everything else. So I do ask myself why I'm going so hard with these. There's a few reasons. One is it's kind of the level of editing that cosplay photographers do these days, and just to be of that level, I try to at least. Whoops! I just clicked. I try to at least not be totally terrible, which I mentioned in the first stream of this. Andrew, he really goes hard on his edits, photography, which I think is good. You want to put your best effort forward. So in this case, I'm giving a true attempt. And the final result, even though it's a small photo, it's like compressed down mostly in what you see, it still makes a difference because you can see like the edge of the hair, and if it's cleaned up, you do notice. It's right here. I'm not sure what I can do to easily fix that or improve on it. We can mess around with that later. Let's see. Just trying to get the most obvious stuff out of the way so I can potentially get to that sooner than later. I don't have my little pen thing around here, but that would kind of help you switch between inputs so that your wrist doesn't get as messed up. It's always a good idea. Although I haven't had any issues lately with it. Sorry, I don't know if you can hear through my mic, but some dude with his motorcycle is super obnoxious. See how that looks? It's like a little bright patch. Ooh, So you should probably try to deal with that. There could be a tool that works better. Let's try the healing brush. Put it over there. So you hold Alt and you pick a spot to source from. And then this case, I'm going to try to do a larger area. Well, maybe not. Although in this case, it just feels quicker to use, which is always a benefit. I could pick something like that. That looks good. Maybe go over here. Keep hiccuping for some reason. Maybe make this a little lower, smaller. Let's see. Actually, that did the trick, I think. Let's look at it before and after. Yeah, definitely. Definitely helped. Save it. See what else we got. Let's try to do that up here. Take this source material. It's kind of blurry. Don't like that. First, let's try to get... Where is that blur coming from? Let me see here. It's already there, so maybe on this low frequency we can just get rid of this. Or from a brighter area, maybe. Let's see what that looks like. At the very least, it made it less noticeable. And then I can go back and just the high frequency. Try to fix that up. Not totally sure that made a difference. But if I try to avoid any weird blotches of color, you probably wouldn't notice. And just try to fix these little point source lights. I think it's good. So let's do a before and after and see what that looks like. Don't know how I feel about that. Let's try. See what that looks like. Definitely an improvement. Let's go back here. Let me show this layer. Go back to the patch tool. Try to get rid of some of this, whatever it is. I would assume there's some better way to do this. But I don't know. Back to the healing brush. Try to get these bright areas out of here. Yeah, I don't like how it blurs. But I'm sure I could do something to improve that with more effort. Not great. Not great. Maybe the hardness was the thing that I needed to see. Let's try it again. So I bumped up the hardness of that tool to 100%. Still, it's not. I think that blur might be on the low frequency. Let's see. Yeah. Now it's got like a black. Not great. Well, let's try this one. Maybe if I added like sharpening back in or something. I don't know. Yeah, I guess that actually works. But could even try to lighten it or something. Or do a clone. Maybe the clone will make more sense. Oof. Oof. Hmm. Whoops. Well, easier said than done. I'm gonna look at it later. Maybe. Yeah. So I don't like how it has these light edges, and then there's like dark, blurry patches. Let me see. See if that does anything. Don't think that did anything. What else we got? Let me take like a bright area as the source of way over here. I'm going to just draw as a dark blotch. Very strange. That tends to, or appears to be, helping a little bit. Let's go there. This low frequency layer is, real something. Let's go to maybe clone and then make it super light. Okay, so I need to take the aligned source off so it stays in that spot. And then just kind of get rid of that dark. Actually, this hardness is not great. Let's see what that looks like. No, that could look okay. Maybe. Maybe. Let's see. It's just very monotonous doing this type of editing. There might be ways to do it quicker, easier. I'm open to any suggestions anyone would have in that case. Of course, I don't use Photoshop, so Photoshop suggestions would not be helpful. Although I do have to say this Affinity Photo is pretty similar to Photoshop in some ways, at least the older versions of Photoshop. The last time I used Photoshop, I still own a copy of it, but it's CS2, so that was quite a ways back. I think there was a CS. Oh no, it was CS5. My mistake. I own CS2 and I have CS5, which means Creative Suite. And then they had a CS6, I believe, and then at that point they switched to the paid monthly service fee, whatever type of model. So you couldn't buy like a single copy and use it. Which, I mean, in some situations that's fine. And your upfront cost is, of course, a lot lower. But for how often I had bought Photoshop, and when I had bought CS5, it was like $350, something like that. Which, over multiple years, it was still cheaper to do that than to pay for 3, 4, 5 years of subscription fees. So it didn't make sense to me to even try the subscription thing. Although with how much money I've spent on like ACDC, it does add up as well. Anyways, I think the point is to find whatever software you're comfortable with. There's free options. GIMP is one of them, which I haven't personally gotten used to enough, even though I've used it over the years multiple times. The interface just, or like how it works, I'd never really enjoyed that much. Although this program feels pretty good to use in practice. So many. Too many hairs. Let's go for that. Whoops, not what I want to do. Get rid of whatever that is. Let's look at a before and after. Definitely an improvement at least. Got some splashback from the tea. All right. This edit is taking a lot more time than I would have hoped. But I'm looking at these hairs. I'm thinking I should probably deal with them. Let me see what this looks like. So again, I hold Alt down and I just look at the low frequency layer or just look at the high frequency layer. You can see this line here on each one. So I could do it individually or I can try to do it together. We've got the in-painting tool selected. So I can increase the size of it a little bit. Let's see what happens. I don't like how that blurred some of the stuff there. Let's just do low frequency. I guess it's fine. You're just going to get some like blurry areas that don't look amazing. I could potentially use a different tool to not do that. Let's try this blemish thing. Oh, that definitely didn't work. Not sure how that works. Healing brush maybe. So again, this one you pick a source with Alt. What are my settings at here? Oh, opacity is too low. That definitely doesn't work. Let's go back to in painting. So in this case, maybe I don't need to modify the low frequency that much. But if we just look at the high frequency, you can see those very well-defined lines in there. Though it's a little easier just to look at them both. There we go. There we go. But I would love to find some type of way to do this faster. I'm just not sure what can give you like a decent quality level and still make it work. You know, at a faster pace. So I think some of these lines. Oh no, that's hair too. It's hard to tell what is what here. There we go. Let's do it before and after. Definitely a difference. Get rid of that. There we go. That actually worked. I try not to do like long lines because just it doesn't tend to work as well, but it seems to be pretty decent in this program. So I'm still stuck on my old Photoshop skills. How I use that one. Not too bad. I just wish it were a little quicker because I'm doing the line and then it takes a half second or so to really show up, which a faster computer I'm sure would help the situation, but the computer industry right now is not a great one to be trying to get new hardware with at the moment. Although I think the CPUs are a little easier to get now, but the GPUs are still stupidly expensive, overpriced, crazy market for them. Which, with this type of stuff, the GPU does matter. It's used in accelerating, like rendering of or processing photos, and so they're definitely used for a lot of stuff these days. You know, not just gaming. I currently have a GTX 1060 6 GB version, which was the early ones. They eventually made like a cheaper version that wasn't as good and had less RAM, but I wouldn't have gone for that one anyways. In this case, I'm kind of thinking about the 3060, the 12 GB version, because I don't need a ton of processing, but more RAM, I think, in my case, would make more sense than less faster RAM, less of. Anyways, the 3060 Ti, I think, is 8 GB of RAM standard instead of 12. And of course, the card is more expensive. Whoops. So many hairs. Wig hairs are worse than normal people hairs, too, in these situations. There we go. But anyways, it would be nice to do an upgrade, thinking about it. Currently, I do get companies sending me things, but the PC companies have not noticed me, so I don't expect that to happen. Would be nice though. Well, question is, how far do I want to go with this? And there's all these hairs over here that I didn't do anything with. I at least need to fix that up. This right there just looks kind of bad. We could try to do some type of... Let's see what the different layers look like. So there's definitely stuff on both layers. And I can't use the patch tool when I have them both selected, which I can show you an example of what it does, and it doesn't work right. So that's definitely not what we want. But in this case, let's see, we need like a green source. It's really bad. Now let's switch to the high frequency layer and then do the same thing. Just kind of make it look as natural as we can. Jump back to low frequency and get these out of here. Get out of here. Yeah. So now at this point, I have to somehow like make a line of hair that looks natural right here. I could probably like clone it from up here. Just take the edge of it. Although this doesn't look amazing either. Let's jump to... Let's do healing brush. Take this down. Let's do 25% hardness. Oh, that's bad. I don't think that's gonna work. Yeah, it just makes that like dark edge, and I definitely don't want that. We could try... one benefit of having a large aperture lens, getting the blurry backgrounds, is that it's a little easier to make it look normal when you have like a straight blur on there. This does look like a mess. Let's save that. Control S. I mean, if we look at it, tiny little thumbnail looks good. If we actually go in there, not so much. Let me try clone here. Use that as a source. That's not going to work. Actually, that's not bad. Which I'm on the high frequency. It's not too bad. Although, I mean, it's just basically blurring it. But we could always try to sharpen it or something afterwards. I'll try this and just see. Switch to the low frequency, do the same thing, see if it... Ooh, that looks bad. What's going on? Maybe patch tool? Yeah. Actually kind of works. Not the worst thing ever. It's a little blurry though. Let me try to add some of this green back in. So I'm taking this area and then I source from this. Whoops. There we go. You know, it might just work. I think some of this is on the high frequency layer, which is not why it's not going away when I do that. So we can quickly do that. Switch to that layer and then do the same thing. Try to move my hand faster so I can get this thing done. Get her done. You know what? I think it's fine. Let's see. I mean, fine is relative, but I could try to darken those areas or something. Maybe if I just really get in there, try the patch tool again. Just try to get rid of those bright areas right on the edge, because that's super noticeable. Yeah, that might work. Takes a little more detail effort, but it gets rid of that weird halo look to it. Or at least it should. It's not cooperating right here. There we go. So I think it's on a mix of the two layers. Let me go back to that one. There we go. Still looks kind of fake. Kind of pops out way too much. Yeah, it looks like it's it looks like it's some type of like overlay or something. This is why I label these streams how not to edit cosplay photos. What I could do, maybe, duplicate, and, well, maybe I should just blur it. Let's see, we've got blur here. Let's look at the settings. 75% hardness. So what I'm doing here right now is seeing if this can work on the high frequency layer. Just to make it less stupid looking. Let's do it with everything selected. What I also might even need to do is like draw in hairs to give that edge like some natural lines to it. I'm not sure. Let's see. Well, let's keep blurring. See what happens. I could also use like the clone tool to add some of that texture back to the edge. It's 25% hardness. Let's make this too much. I went kind of too hard on the whoops. Yeah, I think that blur was a little much. Whoops. Keep pressing the wrong key. Let's try that again. Let's go back to the patch tool real quick. Yeah. Anyways, it's a thing. I could potentially use like once I'm done with this, I can take the background layer and mix the two together so it's not as extreme. Like a duplicate of the original. So as long as they don't change like the color contrast and stuff like that, I can do something like that. Anyways, let's try to clean this horse up a little bit. That's good enough. Get some of these scars out of here. It's lagging. Some of the snot out of there. That should be good. Let's see what it looks like. Well, let's try to get some of these eye boogers just to make them less noticeable. Just a little too shiny. There we go. See what else we can deal with here. So kind of noticeable. Nice. Should be good. Let me save that. Actually, sometimes you have to adjust the prosthetics to make them look more like their skin, but honestly, that looks pretty perfect. So I don't think I need to mess with that. Even I can't even see like sometimes you can see where the prosthetic meets the ear. But in this case it looks good. I could potentially just remove some of these hairs, of course. There's always hairs. Just like get rid of some of it to maybe this one. Try to fix that again. That's good. I mean, what is this? More hair. Those flyaways destroy me every time. That should be good. More hairs that I did not notice. And it's lagging. Come on, computer. You can do it. I guess in a way, one of the PC upgrade reasons would be you're wasting less time to do something because the computer would be faster. And time is money in some ways. So whatever you spend on it could potentially get you some time back. Waiting for the computer to draw a line or whatever. So in that case, I think that's a good reason. Ooh, I think I would need to use clone or something there to kind of fix that up. Good enough. All right, let's see. I feel like that is to the point of what I'm going to do here is merge these layers. Actually, I'm going to save as like a copy. And then I'll merge these layers and then I'll try to like mix the two, the original and this thing. Let's do merge visible. And then I'm going to make these not shown. So I will turn that on. And then I can turn the opacity. Was her hair actually... Did her hair actually look like that? What? Wait a second. Oh, huh. So, was I editing the wrong layer here? It looks like I screwed up. I put like one of the tools on the wrong layer once. Anyways, it's really not that much different. I'm surprised. You know, like the original still looks kind of weirdly pasted on there. So I'm just going to go with the new one. And then try to fix this a little bit. So now I basically don't have these ones being shown. And I just have a new layer that's just a regular old layer. So with this one I can more easily just adjust things, but what I could also do is add another layer and then apply my changes on top. That's an option, but I honestly don't feel like going that hard. Well, yeah, that's not. So I'm going to trash that. We'll just try to edit this one as is. Going bare layer. I'm going to try the healing brush. And then try to... Man, always dark patches. What is up with that? Maybe if I go from the top. Then you can see my mix of blurs and whatever else. Amazing. Actually, one thing I didn't do was fix her wig thing. Which we can look at it. Which actually it looks fine because thankfully that was not in focus. But in that case, you would probably do something like this patch tool and just make it a little less. I don't like how that looks. Come on, let go. Maybe. Let's see what this looks like. Nope. Let's try healing brush. Then turn this down. It blurs it so much. Maybe this... I guess hardness makes a difference. Just to make it a little more natural. I don't know if that's more natural or what, but this thing is, whoops. And the tool selected instead of anything else. Oh, that's not not what I want. What does this do? Nope. Wow, that is slow. Maybe I could use the clone tool and put like low opacity. Let's make this 70. Just to make the, the line a little different than what it might be otherwise. Let's see. Yeah. That's fine. Save that. Let's go back over here. So we've got clone selected. Let's try to make this a little more natural, although the edges of that are looking kind of weird, so I'm gonna try a different hardness level. I think that could work. Let's get rid of some of those weird highlights. Yeah. Not the worst thing ever. There we go. Let me check how my thing's going. Oh, we're all good. The Z5 is still working, which is good. Hopefully I just didn't screw something up. It looks okay. Yeah. Let's pick these edges up a little bit. I don't know if I'm helping or hurting in this case, but we're doing something. Try to get rid of this hair on the side. Just hanging around. Actually, in that case, I should probably use a better tool. Just go like that. There we go. There we go. Yeah. I was going to try to sharpen her eyelashes. That's right. Which in that case, we've got this thingamajig. Let's make that lower. Actually, let's put this to 0. Just so that it looks like it's in focus. I don't think I need to sharpen that. Should be good. Well, at this point, I think that... Let's see one thing on the horse that I should fix up. Let's try this. Take more of a global view of the picture at this point. See if I notice any glaring issues. Oops. So I'm looking at the background. There's a little spot down here that I don't like. See that? And also this one. There's like a... It's probably part of the thing, but it's blurred out, so I'm just gonna take that out so it doesn't... Well, it's supposed to be in there, but it's noticeable to me for some reason. Yeah. I'll leave it. I think we are good. I was going to edit more photos, but that took... How long did that take? Nearly 2 hours. Yeah, I think this is good. Anyways, if you stop by, I appreciate it. If you ever have any questions, I'm around. So, yeah, Scott from Photography Bonsai, and in this case, Cosplay Bonsai is the name that I use for this stuff. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the video.